Hey everybody, I'm Austin Cole.
And I'm Mike Flannery.
This is Money Talks, and today we're going to delve into some of the standards that we operate on in our industry because it's a really important topic, right? But first, we'll get into our 1-minute real estate market update. But before that, even, we got a really fun new toy here, guys. So we got the Money Talks Ka-Ching MIDI button. So this is our new toy. So when Mike or I say something that the other person thinks is maybe substantial,
You're going to hear that.
You get the ka-ching, right?
Why not?
So,
makes sense, right? It's Money Talks.
It's Money Talks, baby. So I guess let's get right into it, Mike. So we're looking at our real estate market update. Let's hear some of those stats.
Yeah, it's still a lot of the same. Obviously, we're seeing inventory go up and be sold relatively quickly. So we'll start in Waukesha County. There's 425 homes in which only 77 are available. So 348 are actually under contract, which is like 18%, right? Available. Yeah, yep. So still extremely competitive.
Which is about what last week was, I think.
Pretty similar.
Roughly.
Yeah, pretty similar. Washington County, we've got 199 on the market, 57 of them available, and 142 of them are under contract. So you got about 28% in Washington County, which is to be expected. That's about what it was last week as well. And then going into Ozaki, there's 128 on the market, 42 of which available, 86 under contract. So that's about 30%, which is a little bit larger from what last week was. And then going into Milwaukee, 1,098 total, 239 of which available. So 859 of them under contract. About 21% availability in Milwaukee County, which is pretty similar. It's a little bit higher than what it was last week, but you can see the number of listings or number of total homes for sale is up as well.
Right, and so to reiterate too, what we're specifically looking at here, guys, are houses that are priced between about $125,000 up to about $350,000. So that's sort of the bread and butter of real estate. So that's the 1-minute real estate market update, guys. I guess let's get into our the bread of what we want to talk about here today, which is the standards, that we operate on in our industry. It's not just about us, Mike, because one thing I'll say for our viewers, one of the pieces of advice that we like to give in Money Talks is, hey, some of the mentalities to adapt, if you're looking to, move up in your career or try to achieve some financial success. One of the big things for me that I think I've always sort of had this mentality, and it's given me a great advantage as I've progressed through my career, is I try to be an individual that sets the bar for the quality that we're operating at, no matter what we're doing. I think we talked about it in one of the very first Money Talks episodes where, back when I sold cars before I was even in real estate, when I was working in that job, I tried to be a leader that set the example, of sort of what we're trying to strive for, which was I didn't just show up to work and just say, hey, I'm going to wait for a customer to walk in the door. I was going above and beyond, making content, I went so far to make a commercial for the dealership. I would bring my drone out during special events to try to generate hype for the business. Right. And that's something that really, I think, got noticed and then propelled me into my career in real estate. And that's something that we try to sort of uphold as a real estate team as well, is being the leaders within our real estate community.
Right, and I think a lot of it breaks down into just the passion that you have, and I would hope that if you're in a career that you're passionate about, that it doesn't feel like work for you, and it's a lot easier to devote time and energy into kind of perfecting your craft.
I think there's multiple layers to it, really, is because you look at when you do have passion for what you do and when you do genuinely care about what you do, there's different layers to the degree of work that you're performing at any time. You've got your essential stuff that you got to take care of every day. Then you've got your projects, I suppose, that you're working on that could lead into future opportunities or whatever. And then you've got your things that you perform on maybe a daily or weekly or monthly basis that are sort of your above and beyond tasks.
Yeah, and I'll just give just an example. One piece of feedback that I've gotten from most of my clients is when we sit down and go through just what a home loan looks like, all encompassed, and that can be a lot of information at once. And so we try to kind of piecemeal it as we go throughout the process. But that initial meeting when we sit down and go through everything is something where I've met with home buyers that are buying their second or third home, and their first two experiences with a home loan were explained to me as being very different and not as transparent and open and as educational as what I tend to break down with my clients, and that's just a personal preference through past careers that I've been involved in, and one thing for me that I always strive for with whatever I'm doing is if I know what the process is in front of me and I know the steps, it seems easier for me. And so I always ask clients right up front is, if we were to outline what a home loan looks like and what buying a house looks like, if we can teach that to you on the front side, most people seem to be far more just comfortable throughout the process.
One thing that I've noticed that you did, Mike, that I would consider to be going above and beyond for your clients is you actually developed a step-by-step guide to buying a home from the pre-approval process all the way to closing.
Yeah, the home buyer, first-time home buyer or home buying roadmap that I created was an inside look, being a loan officer, dealing with loans, dealing with real estate agents, dealing with a title company, dealing with inspections, appraisals, all the things that go into it. I get to see firsthand what every step looks like and just what the buyer goes through on their end.
I think it's a great way to help people during that stressful time. Because, one thing I will say that I've noticed with a lot of clients is it's not always at the forefront of what they're portraying to you, but there's a lot of anxiety involved in buying a home. And I think, taking that extra step.
You know what I'm saying? Anyone would feel that way.
And taking that extra step, I think going above and beyond and laying out that roadmap for them is something that is unique that I've seen you do that is a perfect example of, you kind of going above and beyond and sort of setting that bar. What we're trying to do in this industry is be that bar. We want to be that epitome of quality when you're dealing with a realtor and a lender, either purchasing or selling a home.
For me, working with first-time home buyers, I don't want them to go through a loan experience and have it be some very, very different process every time they do it, right? Most people are not going to buy just one home. Thankfully, I've really been lucky to work with some great clients that continue to use me and refer their friends and family and that kind of stuff. But going through the process as a first-time home buyer, I really, really enjoy doing that because I can set the bar for what getting a home loan looks like. I try to set the bar at a place where it's as easy, as convenient, as smooth, as stress-free as possible so that the next time you're thinking about doing it again, you're not afraid of, oh, wow, the last time he did that, they really put me through the ringer. You know what I mean? Ka-ching, that's right.
That's the first ka-ching.
Yes.
I like that a lot. I mean, what I'm hearing you say is, hey, we're expecting these clients to be long-term clients that are going to be repeat customers, and we want to sort of set a standard that they're going to be expecting the same quality of service every time. Again, guys, going back to what I was saying at the beginning, through Money Talks too, we know, not only are we giving real estate advice and sort of portraying ourselves as real estate professionals, but we also like this to be a series that's targeted towards young adults that are looking to achieve financial success, people that want to become homeowners, and people that are looking to advance forward in their career. And we're just sort of sharing our story of how we do that, right? And hopefully people can maybe pick up on some of that. And, it's just more about getting a discussion going. And I think, for any of you out there, it doesn't matter what you do. I mean, you see it over and over and over again. I'm sure many of you have experienced it. That little extra step, sometimes it doesn't always get noticed immediately. A lot of individuals are in a situation where, you have an employer, you have a boss, right? You sort of feel like you're always being watched and judged by your boss. And, you don't always get that recognition that you need or that you're expecting when you do something that goes above and beyond. But it doesn't go unnoticed. And in most cases, it'll wind up paying off. Because when you go to advance forward in your career, or if you go to get a recommendation and, you need to fall back on your previous boss and have a good referral from them, essentially, you want to be that individual where they say, hey, this person really, really stood out, and I would absolutely recommend them for that promotion or that new position, right?
Absolutely. And that's a great point. Just to interject here a little bit is that behind the scenes, no matter what you do in your career, you're not necessarily going to hit your stride. And when I say hit your stride, you're not going to just peak your potential all at once. You're not going to go from 0 to 100 in 2 seconds. And that speaks to the consistency. Behind the scenes, you have to stay consistent with what you're doing. And I think that speaks a lot to the real estate industry because or lending in general, right? Because getting into that business, there's no one walking in your storefront. There's no one walking in the door asking to buy homes or to originate home loans, right? It's a position where you have to network and obviously use the people that you've worked with and have family friends or whatever the case may be in order to get started. And then after that, right, you have to stay consistent with giving top shelf service because that's the only way that you're really going to make it long term is to have referrals and have long time clients. So whatever you're doing, consistency and having some sort of daily or weekly rhythm is absolutely key. For sure, in my opinion.
I couldn't agree more, Mike. So I think that's a good place to wrap it up. Thanks again for tuning in. Again, guys, I've been Austin Cole.
And I'm Mike Flannery.
And this is Money Talks. We'll catch you next week.
Thanks, guys.